You are now listening to the sounds of.
How you been? How's everything going?
I'm good. I actually just hit 2 years sober today.
We
So
I
it's
saw
it's
that post,
Yeah,
man. That's
congratulations.
amazing, dude. That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, dude, that's gigantic.
Thank you. And as you guys know, because I remember you guys talked about Phonograph Phoenix. If you listen, there's a song on there called Wasteland that's basically like a love song to fucking drinking. So
Yeah.
it's like that just shows how like deep it went. And yeah, it's wild. Like 2 years is like 1 year felt the most wild because it's like it's a year. You know what I mean?
Oh
It's
yeah.
like damn, I did it. I went through every possible day without drinking or anything. I'm like 100%. Oh, coffee. I drink coffee, right?
Caffeine,
And
yeah.
I do take pre-workout though.
There you
Every
go.
day to
There
build my
you go.
muscles. The gym, man. The gym has been so helpful. The gym, yoga, jogging, just like exercise is really because I always exercised before, but like I took it up way a notch when
Oh
I
yeah.
went sober. And I don't think there's any magic bullet. Everybody has their own ways of coping with vice. But to anybody out there listening who might be struggling, that might be an avenue that could work for you as well. And I know it really worked for me. It's because I've noticed, like, because I tried to quit so many times in the past, and it would succeed for a while, then it would fail, and I mean, I quit many times. And what I've realized is like when you quit, whatever it is, if you don't fill that time up or that energy with
Mm.
something positive, you're going to feel lacking. You know what I mean? And it's not to say that you can't get through it that way as well. But for me, it was always harder because it was like you feel like you're missing something. But along with other things, just realizing how bad it realistically was for me and just I didn't think I was an alcoholic, but every doctor alive thought I was an alcoholic. You know what I mean? When you read
Yeah.
that list, you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? I'm like,
yeah.
oh, check, 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 check. I was like, oh, shit. Um, but to get back to my point was, I was like, well, I want to get in crazy good shape. And it's like, because if I drink, I can't be in crazy good shape. It's kind of one or the other.
Yeah,
You know what
okay.
I mean?
Of
So
course.
it's like, and then you start seeing the gains and the reward, and it's like, okay, well, I have this. I'm no longer losing this. I'm gaining this.
Exactly. Because
You know what I'm
drinking
saying?
drinking definitely prohibits a lot of the gains that you could be making. I mean, it swells you up. I mean, it's going to
Well, it
put a
just
lot of
stops you,
extra
yeah.
carb stops. And then you always read that the word retards the muscle, or it helps it from really not growing as well.
Building, yeah.
And you just don't have the energy. You're hungover. And then, dude, another thing too. And like, don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoyed drinking a lot of the times. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm.
like that.
Yep.
Again, that's why I made that song. But it was also coupled with a lot of just hangovers and regret too, where it's like when I'm sober, I can stand by all my decisions, all my actions. And I've already drank 2 lifetimes worth of alcohol too. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying? I'm like, it's not like I didn't do it already. Like I've already drank enough. I've been a professional DJ since I was 17. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
I've drank lifetimes worth of alcohol. And so it's just kind of like, no matter how I spin it, I'm just kind of like, I'm good.
Mm.
So it was just interesting. It's funny because I didn't plan this to be on this day. It just kind of happened. I was like, oh shit, it's this is the day. And that's kind of cool, I think.
I think that's
That's
amazing. Thank
amazing.
you so much for sharing that with us because it's very important, especially because a lot of people, like you were saying, don't think that they have a problem, or they go to the doctor and they check those lists and they're like, well, I'm doing exactly what this guy's doing or my friend's doing, but it goes a lot deeper in a lot of situations, and it can be a lot worse. And having somebody that you look up to or somebody that is influential say that and be an example for that, it helps a lot of people.
And this is the thing is it creeps up on you too, right? It's like I remember my drinking journey was just like, I just kind of liked having beer, and then it was like I really like drinking, and then it's like I need to drink, and then it's like holy shit, I'm out. It's like it's a gradual process. That's why I think a lot of people don't recognize that they have a problem because it's not quick.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You don't notice that it's happening, so you don't notice how far gone you've gotten, and it rewires your brain and your reward system. So it's kind of like I actually watched this video that Andrew Huberman did that helps me a lot with dopamine and alcohol. I think it actually was 2 separate ones. And just understanding like how it actually affects your brain was really eye-opening to me too, because it was like, wait a second, do I actually truly like alcohol, or is it just like my brain's a little rewired to think that it is, right? And then it just kind of opens up a whole other question, like, what do you actually like? What you like and dislike is just like a manifestation of where you're at. You know, if you're in like a real toxic place, you might think your toxic girlfriend is amazing, you know, and then you start getting healthy and healing. You're like, man, this chick is crazy.
Yeah.
Why was I in love with her, you know? So, and that would manifest to anything, right? It's like your likes and dislikes are just a reflection of where you are at. And so that's why it's important to like make healthy choices, because then you could trust your likes and your choices. Does that make sense?
For sure.
Makes total sense.
And so like alcohol was like a slow degradation of like problems I had that had been compounded and this and that. And then it's just like, you just kind of wake up like, oh, I think also what hurt me too, to a degree, was like, I still like was doing what I wanted to do more or less with music. So it was like hard to justify, oh, I got this crazy problem. It's like, well, I'm still rocking shows. I'm still making fresh stuff, you know, like, but then I realized, well, okay, but how much more would I have been doing had I not been drinking? You know, it's like, okay, I'm running this marathon, but I have a 20-pound backpack on. What if I just took the backpack off? You know, I'd be running mad faster. I'd be way further. So that was like another thing that was like, just because I'm still like succeeding in spite of it, like doesn't mean it should have a place at the table, so to speak.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's been interesting. It's interesting because like that in the gym, I debated sharing online as far as social media is concerned, because I feel like there's like 2 ways as an entertainer you could be on social media, and neither way is wrong, but you kind of got to pick your lane. And one is like share everything. You know, you'll have the dudes be like, what up, breakfast today? You know what I mean? They just share everything. And so it's just kind of like, they're like this ongoing TV show or something. And it's like some people's personality works for that. And then other people like myself, I try not to post very often, but when I do, I always try to make it something very significant, or like a really cool professional photo, or like an occasional selfie, but like not do it a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's usually with something. And so it's like, I'm not spamming you to death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I debated. I was like, well, do I want to post about the gym or sobriety? I was like, I don't know. And then I just was like, wow, why not? Like, this is what I'm into.
Yeah.
And I bring this up because of your point earlier about how it's helping people. And that's been a wonderful surprise. It's like, oh, wow, this is like, people are digging this. They like seeing this journey, and it helps with motivation. And then when I thought about it, I was like, of course it does. Because when I see it from people who I like, it does the same thing to me. I was like, why would that not work the other way around for people who dig what I do? And then it kind of like became clear. I guess I just don't look at myself like that, if that makes sense.
For sure.
Like, but I'm like, oh yeah. To some people, like they do look at me like that, and I am serious about it. So it's not it's very authentic. You know what I mean? Like I've been sober for 2 years, and I'm super into health and fitness. It's not a just something for likes or whatnot. You know what I mean? It's a real part of who I am and what I believe in. So I feel comfortable sharing, and it's awesome that people are receiving it so well.
Yeah, and you don't have to be a fitness influencer to influence someone's fitness journey as well, too. I mean, just the simple. I mean, honestly, I think I get more motivated from somebody that isn't even the most fit person, but they're putting in the most work and going to the gym every day, because it's hard. It's not easy. And that motivates me more than seeing somebody that's jacked and always in the gym and super fit. You know what I mean?
You know what I would add too is, and there's no right or wrong, right? It's just like a different angle. But to your point is, when you see a fitness influencer, it's like, oh, it's their job. Of course they can look like that. Yeah. But like with me, like I don't look necessarily like a fitness influencer, but I'm a DJ and a producer. So it's like for most people who have regular jobs that they need to do, it's like, I already got my job and I'm in shape. So then that's more like attainable. It's like, oh shit, Abilities is in good shape, and he's always cutting and making beats. Whereas like a fitness influencer is like, Well, of course they're in shape. That's
their
their
job.
job.
That's all they gotta do.
That's all they do. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would lend some that makes sense to what you're saying about how that could add actually even possibly more motivation because it seems more feasible and attainable.
More relatable for
That
sure.
said, I am thinking about starting a fitness account though.
Do it,
cool,
dude.
yeah,
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Because I'm almost done with yoga training, yoga teacher training. And so I've been into yoga for over 10 years. I'm like really, really into yoga. It's just it's like when I'm at the gym, I get pumped. It's easy to take a selfie, like, "What up? I'm here."
Yeah.
If I'm gonna be doing like warrior twos and like I kind of need somebody else to like be able to take the proper pictures and stuff. So I gotta figure that out. But like that is something I want to do, and then I want to like make music to my yoga flows, and it's like a whole thing.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Ability Fitness. We'll be on the lookout for the Ability Fitness. That being said, what made you know that this time was different when you got sober? Like, how did you know? Like, oh, this is the one. This is sticking now.
It was like so. Like I said, I had tried to stop multiple times.
Yeah.
And I think each time, at least for me, but I think this probably rings true with others as well, is like each time you stop and then you fail, you're kind of a little bit stronger than you were before, right? Because like you learned, maybe you went a little bit further, you learned a little bit more, you have more resolve, you're more disappointed that you started drinking again. Like I'm an optimist, so it's like I try to put things into that frame. But I'm telling you, man, one of the things that really helped me a lot was finding these videos, these Andrew Huberman videos, the one on dopamine and the one on alcohol, because I was like, why? I wanted to know why. You know what I mean? And some people can go to AA and the 12 steps and more power to them if that works for them. Like somebody on my post today was like talking about Jesus and how it helped them. And I'm like, that's awesome for you, whatever you need to do. But for me, I needed the scientific reasons. I was like, what is happening to my brain? Why is this so difficult? And then I saw these videos and I really digested them and it just made things clearer for me. And I was like, oh, that's why this is happening. And then, a couple of weeks down the line when I get cravings again, it's kind of like, oh, this is what's happening. And I understood it more. Also coupled with what I was saying previous, setting clear-cut goals that would be hindered by drinking again. So it's kind of like, okay, I know why I'm craving it. I know what's happening to me. And I know if I go down this, it's going to hurt these other things that I want to accomplish. And I think that recipe is the one that wound up working for me.
Awesome. Did you feel at first it kind of difficult to create without substance, or was that not something that you used as a crutch at all anyways?
No, because like I said, I've gone gaps being sober. So like on Phonograph Phoenix, like Wasteland's obviously on there. So I was fucking, drunk for some of that shit. But for large chunks of that, I was sober. Okay. So it was like I knew that I could do it without sobriety or with sobriety, excuse me. And like you don't need that stuff. If you're a creative person, you're a creative person. Like I used to subscribe to that when I was way younger, when I was like smoking copious amounts of weed in my teenage years and 20s. Yeah. I thought that it like made me better, and I was wrong. But one of the things that I think that stuff can help with, but you could still achieve it without it, is just looking at things from a different perspective. That's really what it is. It's not weed or acid or whatever it is. It's not necessarily that. It's just that it's enabling you to check things out a little bit differently, right? So, but I think you could do that just by opening your mind more, or reading a book that's interesting, or exercising super vigorously, or having interesting conversations. It's just about shifting perspective a little bit, and that's totally achievable without substance. And you could make a strong case that it's even better because you're clearer. You're probably going to retain what you've learned better. You get hella fucked up and drunk. And also, too, like I gotta tell you something. When I stopped smoking weed, used to smoke so much weed, and I was just blazed. And I made this beat, y'all. And I swear to you, I thought this beat was the next level beat. I was like, I cracked the code. Your boy is like,
It's fucking Neo. He's Matrix. This is the one.
I hit the next level, right? I pass out because I'm so fucking high. And then I wake up, and I'm like, damn, I can't wait to fucking hear this beat. This shit was like a kick, a hi-hat, and like a like a pan. Oh. And like that was it. And I remember being like, oh shit, I gotta stop smoking weed. Because I was just so high, it just sounded so incredible, but only because I was high.
Yeah.
I was stone cold sober. It was just like, it reminded me like when you see stoners just looking at like a brick wall or something, you're like, oh, look at all the details. And it's like, yeah, there are a lot of details in there, but it's also just because you're high.
Yeah.
I mean?
You're looking from a different view, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And it can make mundane seem more interesting as well.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, that was another thing with drinking, dude, is I was like, it's incredible how drinking can turn anything into something. Right? One of the things that I really liked about becoming sober and still like is I don't do shit unless I want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sober. Like if I'm at a show, I'm staying at the show because it's fresh.
Yeah.
Now, if I was drinking, I might just stay till bar closed because I'm drinking, not because the show is good.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's cool. Alcohol and drugs can turn anything into an activity because that becomes the activity. When you erase that from the equation, you're only putting yourself in positions you want to be in because there's no fucking, like beer goggles. You know what I'm saying? Like for life. And that's been rewarding. Now, don't get me wrong. Every once in a while, I have like, a boring Tuesday or something where I'm like, fuck, man, post gym, a couple beers and a movie would hit crazy hard today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it would. But I know, like, if I open that door, then, maybe it's a lot of beers on Saturday. And then the next weekend, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's like, it's like a slippery slope. So it's just kind of like, I'll just have my boring Tuesday. And then also I won't be hungover on Wednesday, and then I could hit it hard at the gym again or yoga or whatever I want to go do. Also, too, it costs money, man.
Oh, it's expensive. Very expensive.
It's just expensive. I'm just like, shit.
That's the best point of view I've ever heard anybody have on that take, though, of you being sober. You only put yourself in the winning position. I mean, that's so true. I mean, when I'm drinking sometimes, we'll be like, let's kick it, but they just start a happy hour, so we could just chill a little bit longer. Well, yeah.
But it's not that you're staying because it's fun or it's a cool
it's because
experience.
The drinks are now cheap now and da-da-da-da. But yeah, dude, you saying that, it makes so much clear sense. It's like you spoke exactly how someone should put it. I mean, if someone else saw it in that perspective or in that situation, I mean, people might want to consider not drinking as much or doing that because that's such a good way to put it. I've never ever heard anybody put it like that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what you want to do when you're like that because you'd be like, damn, I love this. Like, don't get me wrong, I still like sports, but like, not like I did when I was drinking.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can sit and watch football all day if you're drinking.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're so cold sober. I'm not watching football all day, not even close. I watch the fucking playoffs. Like now with sports, like I watch the playoffs and the championships. I can't even watch the regular season.
Yeah.
But when I was drinking, like I easily could because it's just kind of it's the beer goggles, man. It's like the light. It's just and I said, like, there's two sides to that coin, right? Like, obviously, I'm sober, so I feel like that's better, but at least for me. But there are some times when I am bored, when I'm just flat out bored, and I'm just like, fuck. Like, a beer would make this Tuesday movie watching better, right?
Yeah,
it's
fuck
just, if you have a tendency to be extreme like I do, it's like I gotta point my guns the right direction, and that's why it's like. Because if I'm going to drink, I'm probably going to be an alcoholic. That's why I stay away from hard drugs. It's like I fucking have no fucking desire to do hard drugs. So, But if I'm a gym, because I'm gonna be a gym rat, like a hardcore gym rat. Like, dude, a couple of months ago, I went to the gym 42 times in
There you
1
go.
month,
There you go.
and I went to hot yoga. It was like the most. I had never done that much exercise in a month. It was insane. But my body just was like, I just needed to do it.
Yeah.
But when you break that down, that's silly. But I go, well, shit. If I wasn't on that mission, like that would have been just a crazy alcohol binges.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like knowing who you are, and if you're that type of person, like put yourself in a position to use those traits as virtue as opposed to vice.
Yeah. You definitely have to replace, like you said, you have to replace it. You can't just
quit
think you're going to go
yeah.
cold turkey and keep doing your same daily routine and think that everything's going to be fine. You got to replace it with something.
You can do it, but it's way harder.
Yeah.
There's
because
energy
you're
to be
gonna
burnt.
feel lost. You know what I'm saying? You're going to feel like something's missing. And when you feel like something's missing,
You're filling
that's
with
just a
something else.
hard thing for people to deal with.
For
You know
sure.
what I'm saying? So it's like, I'd say that the two things you want to do is, one, find something to replace that time and energy with that's positive, and then two, research the actual science behind why you're doing whatever your specific vice is. Right? It could be anything, but just research are people attracted to that? Why do people have difficulty letting go of it? Why do people have difficulty overusing it, et cetera, et cetera? Because once you can then you can kind of put it outside of yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And
course.
observe it and be like, oh, this is what's been happening to me. Not this is who I am. This is what's been happening to me. And now it's over there, and you can observe it, and you're like, oh, that's there. Well, I want to do this thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you kind of separate yourself from it, and it at least has been helpful for me. Like I said, I don't have the magic bullet or whatnot, but I have been through this, and it's what's helped me.
Yeah.
You replaced a bad habit with a great habit. I mean, and if you think about it, it's beneficial for you all the way around. And the people around you, too, and your family, they're going to see you live longer now. Your health is better. You're probably all around in a better mood all the time.
Better example for your family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're showing
Also,
everybody
too, dude,
that stuff.
I would add, not only my family and friends, but I'm a public figure. But people who come see me, it's like, dude, I'm honored to be able to create art and have people come and take their time, drive, you know what I'm saying? Like, to come see me. It's like, I owe it to people to be the best version of me that I could be.
Yeah.
And it's like, that brings me joy. And it's like I just played at St. Patrick. You know, St. Patrick, if there's ever a day to drink, it's fucking St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just played this past weekend. You know, I'm stone cold sober. And it's just a fucking blast, you know, and everybody has a blast. That's the thing. I don't judge people for drinking. Like, I really enjoy drinking. I just know that I'm one of the people who's extreme and took it too far. You know what I mean? There are countless people who can have a couple drinks and have fun. And I've done that. It's just, that usually will only last like a week, you know?
Yeah.
or 2 weeks. And then it's like,
Slippery slope.
shit. Yeah, exactly. So it's just kind of like.
But